And good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Sandy Golston here, and looking forward to doing some writing sprints this morning. It is Sunday morning, November the 29th, coming up on the end of the month of November. And for many of us who are engaged in National Novel Writing Month, NaNoWriMo, this has been hopefully a fun month for everybody, but maybe a frustrating month for some people who maybe weren't quite able to reach the 50,000 word goal for NaNoWriMo. You still have a little bit of time to try to reach that goal. So hopefully everyone is making good progress toward reaching that goal. And welcome James Nicholson. James is he's got his goals in line right now. He's looking for 10,000 words. He's saying, let's do this. And so, you know, one of the keys right now for me and for others, and James probably the same, is to hopefully get off to a good start writing today. And we're wrapping up a long Thanksgiving weekend for many of us. So hopefully, again, as I mentioned yesterday, hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving and everything is going well from that standpoint. So one of the things that I'm going to emphasize a little bit more today in my writing, and I do it all the time anyway, but my writing tends to be very dialogue heavy. I really focus on trying to make dialogue as authentic as possible and to let that lead the story probably more so than a lot of writers tend to do. I think most writers probably have a pretty healthy mix of narrative, typically your third person narrative, along with your dialogue. And I do that too, to some extent, but I also really focus on dialogue and focus on trying to make the dialogue as authentic as possible, really authentic based on the type of character that I've developed. And so that's one of the things that I focus on today, and all the time anyway. So hopefully other people will be able to join us here, and I'm going to go ahead and get the get our handy dandy clock ready here. So let me move that out of the way. And if you come through and you could, please hit the like button for the video. Much appreciated. If you're not a subscriber, hopefully you will consider doing that as well here as I work on getting the stopwatch here. All right. You know, I should have been prepared and had this ready to go beforehand. You know, I had so many other things that I was working on, trying to make sure that I had that all correct and good to go as I was, whoops, that is not the one that I want. Let me, hang on a second, let me get that. Oops, that's not what I want. There it is. All right, so we're gonna go 15-minute writing sprints. That's typically what we do. So let me go ahead and get this all set up. We'll go super full screen there. And hopefully everybody's ready to get their writing sprinting in today. I am at 61,873 words for this novel that I've been working on. So if you've been following the recent lives that I've been doing, I've told you that I'm probably going to need about 70 to somewhere between 70 and 75,000 words to finish this off. One of the challenges right now is I got to figure out, like, once you start to get to the end, you start thinking about alternative scenarios for how you can end it. And so now I'm trying to figure out if I want to go in a different direction right now. And that's a decision that I need to make here pretty quick. So, all right, we're going to go 15 minutes, not 25. Let's go 15-minute writing sprint. And that's going to take us to about 10:50. By the time I get everything, hit the start button, it's going to take us to about 10:51-ish a.m. Eastern time. So hopefully everybody's at their keyboard. If you're joining us and you're reading, that's perfectly fine too. You're free to share what you're reading, and I'm happy to engage you in that way as well. I am thinking about doing some reading sprints at some point too, because I have never really done that, and I thought that might be a cool idea. So James is working on outlining, so that's always a cool thing. Outlining is essentially important. It has helped me to stay on track. So for that, I'm definitely grateful. So, all right, so let's go with the 15-minute writing sprint. And let me go ahead and pop that up on the screen. Hit the share. There's the big one. I'm gonna flip it this way. So we'll go with a little bigger clock there. All right, here we go. So we're going to go to about 10:51 to 10:52-ish here. And ready, set, go. All right, so that sprint is done. 15 minutes in the books right now, and I was able to get in 313 words. So that was what worked for me. 315 words. Um, at a pivotal stage here. And the stage that I'm at right now in this story is I've got to solidify pretty soon exactly how I'm going to end it. So I'm going to probably update the outline a little bit at some point, probably after this sprint. There's still some groundwork that I need to get in. So these mini sprints are going to really be helpful because it's going to get me closer to that point that I need to get to, setting the stage, if you will, for the actual ending of this novel. So this these sprints are going to be very, very helpful to me, to again set the stage for the ending. And then I just really, it's going to be a matter of just settling on the ending that I really want. I've got I think 5 potential endings, and I've pretty much eliminated 3 of them because I didn't think they were going to be strong enough and maybe jolting enough. So I've pretty much eliminated those. And so now it's just going to be a matter of picking the one that it just seems like it's going to fit the best. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. James, way to go. Just finished outline. Might jump in sprints this round. So cool. Yeah, that's, it's getting that outline solidified is obviously very important. um, it really sets the stage and it makes it easier because if I had not taken as much time to outline, there's it's possible that I still would have been able to crank out that many words in a month. I've done it before, but I think this story needed the outlining probably more than other stories that I've done. So I was really glad that I did that, got that outline done, and I was feeling pretty good about that. So all right, so we are coming up on about 5 minutes till. So I'm gonna get this screen back and ready to go here again. Let me do that. Boom. Got the old clock there with the sundial ready to go. So getting ready for another 15-minute sprint here. So if you are at your, I was going to say typewriter, but that's I just watched an old journalism movie, and so they were using typewriters in the old journalism movie. So if you're at your computer, your desktop, your laptop, your tablet or other device, and you're ready to go, why don't you go ahead and get started right now? All right. That sprint is in the books. Mini sprint, if you will, is in the books. Whoops. Forgot to turn this off here. So you can hear the little bit of a delay there. So anyway, 266 words is what I came in at. So pretty good right there. Had to actually do, hold on a second. Let me change this a little bit. So that was pretty good considering I had to do some research a few times to make sure I had some details correct. And there was including a couple details about a character that I had to make sure that I was remaining consistent. So I went back to my character sketches for one thing, and then there were a couple things that I had to go online and look up just to make sure that I was describing them correctly. And then I looked up the definition of a word just to make sure that I had the definition correct for the context in which I used the word. So that was good, and feeling pretty good about that. Yeah, he says, "Damn, you're fast." A lot of it is a lot of it. James is I just kind of know what I want to say, and it's just a matter of getting it down. And what I do, the work that I do for a living, I spend a lot of time typing. So I'm a completely self-taught typist, and I've been able to get pretty fast at it over the years. So that's been a good thing. Let's see, we got 206 words for the last 7 minutes. So that's very good. I'm trying to pronounce the name, Yuki Maiko, maybe. Not sure. Feel free to correct me if I didn't get it correct, but nice job. 206 words is very, very good. So great progress right there. Thank you for joining and participating. That's always great to have new people participating with us. Here, let me clear this here so nobody starts tripping out with that red light there. So things have been going pretty well. So I'm excited about my particular writing, and I'm coming toward the finish line, as I mentioned before. Between the first and second sprints, I think that I'm coming down the stretch of the end, and I just gotta settle on one of probably 2 or 3 potential endings. All of the potential endings that I have are fairly similar. Some just are a little bit more intense than others. So it's just a matter of deciding how hard I want to go with the ending. I don't typically like to go for wishy-washy endings or kind of stereotypical cheesy endings where they hold hands and walk off into the sunset. I've done those before, and I think most people have if you've written enough. So we all know how that goes. Okay, Yuki. So that's that is definitely helpful to have a shorter one. I always research before I start as part of Preptober. Absolutely. I did a video about Preptober, so great job making use of it. I'd heard of NaNoWriMo before, but I really heard about it and learned more about it probably about the midpoint of October. And then I quickly learned about Preptober as well. And so I made the decision pretty quick that I was going to do NaNoWriMo this year, and that I was going to make use of Preptober. And so I did some videos talking about that. So great use of Preptober. But I end up researching many things I have not thought of in the beginning. Yep, exactly. As you go along and you the story starts to develop, there are other things that sometimes for me pop up, and you're like, okay, I need to, figure out that. I need to learn more about this procedure, or how the FBI would handle this, or how the police would handle this, or how a hospital would handle this situation. Those are some things that I've been working on. When do the police come in for this type of situation, or when do the FBI come in for this type of a situation, versus when they might leave it to, your local county or state law enforcement. So, I've been working on some of those things and just making sure that you got your details straight. So yes, this is my first Nano. So like I said, I'd heard about it before, but I never actually, well, I had heard NaNoWriMo, and I was lazy and, of course, never really took the time to really look it up and figure out what it was all about. So I, this year, for whatever reason, I was coming toward the end of a project in October, and then I saw NaNoWriMo, and I just saw more people talking about it. And I'm deeper into being a booktuber here on YouTube, and so I've been seeing more about it and decided that I was going to take it on this year. So, yep, this is definitely my first year doing that. James Nicholson, the challenge is as the characters start talking to you, they start to take over. They do. As I mentioned, I think in one of the broadcasts yesterday, I was developing a secondary character in a story that I wrote, I think it was a couple years ago, and I just fell in love with this character. And I just, almost wanted this character to just totally take over the story. And she kind of did, in a way, and became kind of a dominant figure, a very dominant secondary character. And so I ended up doing a spinoff story with her as a lead character. So I was actually pretty excited about that. And it looks like got some good engagement going on amongst the people who are following. So really great to have everybody in here. It's been a lot of fun. We're coming up on 50 minutes. We're at 50 minutes right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get this next 15-minute sprint ready to go. And the emphasis, again, for this particular broadcast, I've been talking a little bit more about dialogue writing and authentic dialogue writing and keeping your characters in character and making sure their dialogue matches the character and what this character would say. And you hope that by the time you get halfway, 3/4 of the way through, that you have your characters so well developed that you know how they're going to handle pretty much any situation that they're in, and it's consistent. It's not like they would react completely differently than what you've built up over 60,000 words, and then all of a sudden you get to 61,000 words, and all of a sudden your character is doing something that's completely out of character. So that's a very important thing to do, just to make sure that you're constantly staying in character. So okay, get ready here, because I'm going to go ahead and get this next and last 15-minute writing sprint going here. So appreciate everybody coming through. If you haven't hit the like button for the video, please consider doing so. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. I do a lot of booktube and authortube videos, so reading and writing videos. I'm just filming yesterday some videos that are going to be uploaded to the channel. I just got to make live, and then I have to reshoot one video because there was something off with my appearance, and I just noticed it, and it was going to bother me, and I was sure somebody was going to notice it, and I'm like, I could probably get by with it, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and refilm that particular video. And then I have some other videos that I'm working on as well. I'm going to do a year in review video highlighting some of the top books here that I read this year. And just to give you an idea of, let me see, I got to find that particular file. Hang on a second. Here we go. So what I'm going to do to end the year, and you'll probably be seeing these videos in the month of December, but I'm going to do first of all, I'll preview my end of the year book awards that I'm going to do. These are just my opinions based on books that I've actually read. So I'm going to do a fiction book of the year, a fiction runner-up book of the year, nonfiction book of the year, nonfiction runner-up book of the year, disappointing book of the year, pleasant surprise book of the year. So those are some of the books that I will be highlighting or maybe lowlighting, depending on your perspective. So I'm really excited about that. So again, fiction book of the year, fiction runner-up book of the year. Then I'm going to do nonfiction book of the year, nonfiction runner-up book of the year, disappointing book of the year, and pleasant surprise book of the year. And right now, just so as you guys know, I do have the actual picks for these books already set. So unless something changes here in the last few days of November or significantly in the month of December, I pretty much have got those all settled. So let me catch up on the chats because you guys have started to pick things up here a little bit. Let's see what we got here. Yuki, I have those tiny notebooks for the characters of my series so that every time something comes up, I can add and reference it when exactly. And that's what I do too. Certain types of characteristics that might pop up that you didn't think about in the beginning. So maybe it's eye color, maybe it's a tattoo or something that maybe makes sense a little bit later, but you weren't thinking about it earlier, but you just go ahead and add that to your character sketches. So I don't know if any of you use what software you guys are using. I have Scrivener, and I know a lot of people recommend it. I got to find myself to get a little bit more comfortable with using it. Microsoft Word is what I've used for forever. And I do sometimes use Google Docs as well to write things. So Google Docs is my primary backup right now, but I do have Scrivener, and of course I do use Microsoft Word as well. And I know Scrivener has a way that you can do characters and kind of keep them in a particular area. So that's definitely something to consider. Steph is here in the house. Coffee over apples, my buddy. Great to see you. Thanks for coming through. I appreciate it. And it's just always good to see you. I love catching up with your videos. You really do some really creative videos, and I got to get on your level as far as the creative videos that you come up with. I mean, it's actually really impressive. I need to step my game up to do that. So go definitely check out Steph's channel, Coffee Over Apples. She does some really, really cool stuff, some great collaborations. I love watching some of the collab videos that she and others do. It's just some really great stuff. So there are just so many great YouTubers, so many great booktubers and author tubers who are out there. And I am not one of these people that's like, oh, I'm only going to subscribe to a certain amount of people, or I got to have a certain ratio in social media. If I see somebody that's doing some cool stuff, then I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to them and, just have things coming in front of me. So if they're doing something that I'm super interested in, then I'm going to jump all over it. And of course, I like to be socially generous. So when I see things that people are doing, and I know Steph is like that, Coffee Over Apples, she likes to be socially generous as well. So definitely go and check her channel out if you get a chance. Beautiful channel name it is. It is right on point with that. It is really, really, really cool. So it's just great to see so many booktubers. And I'm just when you start doing YouTube, and I was really unfocused with what I wanted to do with YouTube. I just knew I wanted to do it. And then I started to realize my passion for reading and my passion for writing, and coming up with a booktube / authortube channel. It just made perfect sense for me. And so I'm just thankful that I've been able to find these communities and been able to start to engage with people more and more, to come out of my shell, because it might not seem like it, but I'm kind of shy about certain types of things. So it's kind of nice to be able to get out there and to be able to meet more people. So let's see. I am using Word, Paper, and Scrivener, and Google Docs for dictate. Yeah, exactly. I did a lot of text-to-type writing with a novel that I wrote. It's the one that I'm actually shopping around right now, looking for an agent or publisher. And I did it. That was the one that I've kind of alluded to in some of my videos, that I wrote 90,000 words in a month. So I just really cranked that one out. So I've used all of them. Scrivener, I'm just trying to get comfortable using Scrivener. It's different. And sometimes people are uncomfortable stepping out of their comfort zone. And Microsoft Word, for me, I got it set up a certain way, and it just is comfortable for me. So I'm very much a person who likes to be in my comfort zone. You're welcome, Steph. Thank you very much for coming through. I definitely appreciate having you, and appreciate the love going back and forth here in the chat. And just pulled her up, pretty cool. So James has been going over there checking out. So Steph, you might owe me one here. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing with it. But yeah, it's great to have all of you guys in here. So, all right. So we're at 11:25. I'm going to go ahead and start the last 15-minute writing sprint here, and then I will chat with you guys if you're still hanging with me here this morning, and then we'll wrap it up and look ahead to next week. So. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and get this next 15-minute writing sprint. If you're not writing, but you're reading, then feel free to do that. And we can just kind of share some thoughts about, what each other's doing, whether it's reading or whether it's writing. And, it's just all good. Let's see what else we got people saying here. Got some people going back and forth. Yuki's got a series going, so talking about that a little bit. James is back here in the saddle, ready to go. Simon, welcome back to the broadcast. Great having you back as well. It sounds like you've been pretty busy, so that's good that you were able to do some of that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I've got some things to catch up on. I've got to shoot some videos. Some of the edit videos for my YouTube channel. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I have to reshoot one, and then I got some stuff I got to do around my house. I'm sitting here, I can look in my kitchen right now and see I've got some dishes that need to get done, and I definitely have some laundry that needs to get done as well. It's not a football day for me because my beloved Detroit Lions, they keep getting jackhammered, and they just fired their head coach and general manager. So there will be not as much football for me this particular Sunday. So we will see. I'm sure I'll be doing some writing, but yeah, my Detroit Lions, they play on Thanksgiving every year. So they played last Sunday, and then they played on Thanksgiving, and both were very forgettable games. So we got smashed both games. So it was definitely hasn't been a fun last 5 days or so for football in the state of, or 7 days now. In the state of Michigan. Although, as I mentioned, the firing of the head coach and the general manager on Saturday, I think, not that you take pride in people's misery, but it was a bit of relief for Detroit Lions fans. So let's see. So it's like Yuki's working on multiple projects here. Oh, that sounds like a cool project. That sounds like a really cool project. Yeah, I'm trying to branch out of my comfort zone. And so I go to my fellow booktubers looking for ideas in different areas of reading genres to try to figure out something different. So I want to expand my reading and writing. So I'm looking forward to that. I actually have a series that I'm getting ready to start writing after I get done with this particular piece. And I mentioned it yesterday, but it's I described it as the Hunger Games meets the Manchurian Candidate. So I think it's going to be really cool. It's a 5-book series, and I'm still working on the character sketches right now and looking to really get that going. It's very different than anything I've ever written. So I'm excited about that. Let's see. Yeah, Steph, it was rough. It was rough. Thank goodness for a good Thanksgiving food, because if not that, I think there would have been a major statewide depression here in the great state of Michigan. So yeah, it was painful. As bad as the Thanksgiving game was, I think the one on Sunday that they lost was probably even worse. So that was rough. That was definitely rough. Indeed, yeah. Yeah. The funny part about the record of the Lions this year is that they actually had the best record of the teams that played on Thanksgiving. So that's not as much to brag about as you would hope for. I think it speaks pretty sadly about the teams that played on Thanksgiving. So, yeah, pretty rough. Yeah, the Steelers game, that was supposed to be a really, really good game. And it looks like it's been pushed back again. So I think I saw that it's been pushed back to Tuesday. So it looks like that one's on hold again for at least a few more days. So yeah, I mean, COVID is just wow. Like you're thankful to have sports. Those of you who are sports fans, but man, it's just been tough. And so obviously a lot of people are taking safety measures here. Yeah, so just some cool chats going on here. Great to see you guys engaging with each other. Let's see. I'm a child educator. I do write children's books. Cool. Romance, comedy, fantasy, biographical fiction, adult romance, and scientific. Wow, you are definitely a diverse writer. Wow. That's really impressive. Yeah, I definitely need to expand my reading, my writing and reading as well. I typically do mystery, suspense, romance. I do some sports fiction because I'm a sports fan, and I have this kind of dystopian piece that I'm talking about coming up with. When I first read Hunger Games, that was not something that I would normally read, but when I read Hunger Games, I was really excited about it because I had the movie on my DVR, and I didn't want to watch the movie because I knew I had the book in my collection. I think at the time I had all 3 books in my collection, and so I wanted to read the book before watching the movie. And I'm really glad that I actually did do that because I really, really liked the original Hunger Games book. Catching Fire was very good. I tolerated Mockingjay, and The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was okay. I think it was maybe a little bit underwhelming in some respects. I'm not sure what other people felt about that. Those of you out there who are Hunger Games fans, I'm not sure how you guys felt about it. They're better off without Patricia. Yeah, no argument there. Ace's English. It just was a disaster when they got rid of Jim Caldwell, who was by current standards was doing fabulous. He was Vince Lombardi by current standards. But I get it. They thought they had the hot coach, and so they decided to go in that direction. They had a new GM, and he picked his guy, and sometimes that's what happens. But yeah, Matt Patricia wasn't getting it done. So sports is a high stakes business, and if you're not getting it done, then there's somebody waiting by. It's like a box of tissue. One is right there. You use it, and that doesn't work out. That's not good enough. Then the next one is right there waiting. Let's see. Steph works in education. If you guys have your writing and you guys want to share it, feel free. I'm not one of these YouTubers that's going to say, hey, don't share things. Go ahead and engage and share things amongst yourselves and with me. I like reading other people's stuff and just I like to with my Kindle I get a lot of Kindle Unlimited books, and I buy a lot of 99-cent books, and I like to read undiscovered authors. So I choose based on what the interest that I have in a story, whether it's maybe a 30 or 40 or 50,000 word story, or it's a much longer story. If it's just something that just sounds interesting to me, then that's what I go for, not necessarily the actual authors. Let's see. Any tips on writing sports fiction? There's a balancing because not everybody's a sports fan, and so I think you have to balance. Like some sports fiction, people get really deep into the sports, and into the strategy and the coaching strategy that people do. And sometimes I imagine me losing the casual reader who's not as much of a sports fan. So I would say really use the deep parts of sports, the strategy and the gameplay. I would say be careful how deep you get into that, and so it doesn't sound like a sports wrap-up article or a press release, written by a sports information director. So I would say just be careful with that and try to, give that flavor of sports without maybe making a certain type of a reader feel like this is not for them. So I think that's one of the things that I've probably learned over the years is just to try to strike that balance where you're telling a good story, you're getting the sports in for your sports fiction fans, but you're also making the palette so that other people feel like they can come in there, and if the sports is not really their thing, they can tolerate it. and still be able to enjoy the story. Um, Yuki says, I'm very bad with horror and mystery books, but I am forcing myself currently to read them, so I might be able to write those as well. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of where I was with Hunger Games. You know, I wanted to read a little bit more with Hunger Games, and I think that helped inspire the next piece that I'm going to work on. Since the trend right now for so many writers, it seems one of the trends is to write a series, and so that's what a lot of people are trying to do. So definitely working on that. And it's good to just step out of your comfort zone in terms of what you're reading. Let's see. Yeah, I love sports fiction. In fact, when I go out and look for sports fiction and Aces in English, I look around pretty hard, and there's some writers that do it pretty well. I've read Mike Lupica over the years, and he does some sports fiction. John Feinstein, who's done nonfiction and sports fiction as well. So those are a couple of names that I think jump out. I don't know if you've read either of those two. If you're really interested in sports fiction, those are two that really inspired me. And actually, the book that really inspired me, even though she's not necessarily a sports fiction writer, was One on One by Tabitha King. And I've talked about that book before on this channel. That was actually the book that really got me thinking about writing, and they got me started. And so I was glad that I ran across that book many, many years ago, more than 20 years ago. I read that book and really inspired me. I actually have 2 copies of it, including one that's tabbed so crazy it's ridiculous. Yeah, you could look up events and games from the sport you want to write about and use them as reference and see what is realistic and possible. Yep. Yep. Actually, I think that's really good. Shout out to fellow educators. Absolutely. That is great. I work at a university. I don't work in an education capacity, but I do work at a university. So shout out to all the educators for real, whether it's K through 12 or it's at higher education at colleges and universities across the country. You guys are doing some tremendous work and definitely making a difference for young people and for families. So, all right, great chat, awesome chat. So, all right, let's get some writing in here. So I'm going to go ahead and set the clock here at 15 minutes, as you can see right there on the small screen. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the start button, and let's get this writing party started. All right. So that last sprint is in the books. And of course, once again, I forgot to turn the sound off here. All right. So that's quickly rectified there. All right. So I got in my 403 words during this mini sprint. So that was a very productive mini sprint. Didn't really have to do much research during this particular sprint. I was able to just kind of get in a nice groove. I've got the scene that I'm working on right now is pretty straightforward. I know exactly where I'm going with this scene, and then the next scene that comes up after it. Right now, the three main characters are collecting three clues that are going to help them to be able to solve the mystery. And so each person has a clue that helps them to get the piece of the puzzle. And so there's three major pieces of the puzzle that they have to assemble based on specific clues that they have. So let me stop that screen share real quick. 401 words by Aces English. So very well done right there. That's a solid little run right there for you. Let's see what we got here. What else we got here? I got Simon Finn just is on a mission right now. 44,500 today. Not sure if I'm going to win Nano this year, but it's not over yet. You're right. It's not over. You still got some time. That is wow. That's some incredible work right there. You're very close. Absolutely. Aces English is right. You're right there knocking on the door. So still a little bit of time left to be able to get it in. 253 had to cuddle with the puppy in between. I don't blame you there. Sometimes that's the best therapy that we can have right there. So nice work right there. I do not blame you one bit. I would much rather cuddle with a nice puppy than to be able to have to go into this kitchen and get these suds going so I can wash these dishes. So, and then do laundry. So that's going to be what's on tap for me today. And then I'm going to squeeze in a little bit more writing. Let me go ahead and tally up total what I have for this project that I am currently working on. And let's see. So all right. So I am at 62,742 words for this piece that I've been working on. And I'm pretty happy with where I am right now. As I mentioned earlier, I'm coming down the stretch run, and I'm figuring it's going to take me about 10,000 words to bring this this bad boy into the station and finish it. And then what I typically do after that, as some of you have heard me say before, is I will take a step back from it for a week, 2 weeks, something along those lines, and then I'll come back to it at some point, hopefully with a fresher perspective on life and whatnot. So hopefully that's something that's going to pay dividends for me. Yeah, good chat right there. Let's see, some great stuff going on here. 60, yeah, like I said, 62,000 words. I'm feeling really good. Yeah, much appreciated. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a fun project to come up with it from scratch, which I did about a month and a half ago. As I mentioned earlier, I think I was chatting with Yuki in here, and I came up with the project about a month and a half ago and used Preptober, which is preparation for NaNoWriMo, to really solidify and put together a strong outline. So I was definitely feeling really good about that. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm really excited about this project. It's been a lot of fun to write, and I debated whether I should have done another project for NaNoWriMo, that series that I talked about, the first book in that series. I did not do it. I wasn't quite as far along as I wanted to be, because it's a series. I want to take a little bit more time to plan it and make sure that it's going to be consistent, from the first book of the series all the way through to the end. It's a 5-book series right now, so I want to make sure that I take a little bit more time to work on that outline. So I'm probably going to start that project next month. Let's see what else we got going on here. My total goal. I think the total goal for this particular piece that I'm working on right now is going to be about, I'd say about 72,000 words is going to probably be what I'm going to need to really finish this one up. So I'm definitely coming down the stretch run right now, and I've got a pretty good idea where this is going to go, and what it's going to take to really finish this. So I feel like I'm in a really good spot right now. So I'm pretty comfortable with where I'm going right now. Oh, that's really cool. I actually went to Seattle for the first time ever last year, so it was actually really cool to be out there. But Central Brazil, wow, that is really cool. Let's see. Definitely going to use Preptober to my advantage next year. Yeah, it's really good. I had just found out about NaNoWriMo, and then I found out about Preptober. And a lot of it, again, is connecting with booktubers who are out there and who were talking about, or author tubers, I should say, who were out there talking about it. And when I found out about NaNoWriMo, I found out about Preptober pretty much right after that. So um, it says, let's see, Aces English, going to use Preptober. So yeah, that's a good thing I'm not a pantser, but I've been pantsing it the whole way. Yeah, that's kind of the way it is for pantsers. I've been like that for years. Been a pantser, and in fact, one of the best stories that I ever wrote had just the most minimal outline. That's the one that I'm currently shopping around looking for a publisher right now. So that's the one that I wrote about 90,000 words in like a month. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point about the second book of a series. I think about that a lot with the Hunger Games, and how do you follow that up? And I actually think that Suzanne Collins did a pretty good job following it up. It's hard to beat the first one, but I think all things considered, she probably did a pretty good job with that. Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. The first book is the setup, and the second book is kind of that engine that really is going to drive it and really turn it into a true series. So great point there. Yeah, good luck, and keep grinding, as we all like to say. It's definitely a process, and for me, like it is probably for all of you, it's just finding the time to put into it, and with all the other things that many of us have going on in our lives, it's just trying to find the time to make it all work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was good. I liked it. I really liked the Hunger Games series. Um, the first one for me personally, everybody's got their own opinions. The first one was the best for me. The second one was, they're really almost in order. Mockingjay and the Battle of Songbirds and Snakes. I mean, pretty even. I really liked Hunger Games and Catching Fire. I thought those are really good. I really loved the Hunger Games, the original book, and Catching Fire was good. I liked it. It was definitely a good follow up to it. Mockingjay is tough because it kind of feels like it's going in a little bit of a different direction. Um, and for some people that probably worked, and maybe for others not quite as much. Daisy says, I plan for NaNoWriMo every year, but never really followed through. Plus, I'm a playwright, so I have to work to make the whole process work for me. Yeah, yeah, it's that's interesting. I need to learn more about playwriting. It's just being a playwright. That's just something that I'm just not quite as familiar with. But it sounds like a unique style of writing. So kudos to you. That sounds like a really unique time. Let's see. Let's see. See what else we got here. Just trying to catch up. Running time is a challenge. Sprints like this help so much. Thanks for hosting these. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's just really great to be able to bring people together and just to make some time. And it's I'm just still working out the bugs of how everything works, and it's interesting to be able to figure it out. So you guys have to let me know if you guys are interested in weekday sprints. I probably will do some more over the holidays for sure, maybe during the week, because I'll have a little bit more time off. But I definitely like to get these sprints in on the weekends. The weekends are just perfect. Saturday morning, I just wake up. I make my breakfast casserole overnight, and then I just wake up, get something to eat, and then just come and set up here at the computer and just kind of do some writing. So it's a lot of fun for sure. Let's see. Yeah. I think there's they're all standalones. So and some of them most of them are sports fiction to some extent. That's definitely some of my early stuff. It's not some of my best stuff, but because I'm still like kind of holding on to that dream of being traditionally published. So yeah, I'm just kind of hanging on to that a little bit. Oh, that's interesting. So you have to handwrite the letters and get into each character. Okay. All right, second that. And yeah, you can third these. That's for sure. Yeah, it does make writing less daunting. It's just kind of nice to be able to sit back. I've got something to drink here. I got my tea here to drink. Since I'm not supposed to drink pop or soda, whatever you want to call it. So I have my tea or water sometimes too. In this case, it's just tea to help me stay hydrated at least somewhat while I stay on the writing grind here. So yeah, it's just a lot of fun doing that. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. So thanks to everybody for jumping in, and I plan on being back here next Sunday and Saturday for sure. Sunday and Saturday mornings for sure. I might next week I might be twinning on Saturday and Sunday. So maybe I'll do morning and evening. At least in the evening one, I can catch my West Coast people. There's some people I know on the West Coast that might be interested in sprinting with us. So hopefully we can do a little bit of that too, and on Saturday and Sunday. But I definitely like the morning one. It's just nice to be able to get up and just kind of get right into it with a fresh perspective in the morning, and then in the evening, hopefully my football teams have done well. And if my football teams have done well, then writing is can be even a little bit more fun. And if the football teams have not done well, like yesterday was the case, then and Thanksgiving was the case, then writing can be therapeutic. So that's always something to keep in mind. Let's see. Let me catch up here with what the chat room is up to here. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks, Simon. Again, like I said, still working through the kinks of how this all works here with StreamYard. I know a lot of booktubers and author tubers use StreamYard, so it's a lot of fun. I'm starting to get it down to understand how it all works. So that's been great. Yeah, thank you, Steph. I'll be following your videos, of course, all throughout the week, and always appreciate checking out your videos. So appreciate you, and the contributions that you make. Always make me smile. You some really cool tweets, and I really love the way you kind of share the love with fellow booktubers and author tubers, getting the word out about things that people are doing. James is West Coast, so he got up at 7 a.m. Wow. Yeah, you are definitely an early riser. I tell you what, on my Saturdays, I usually like to try to sleep in a little bit, but that's just not always possible. Seahawks, yeah, you guys have had a lot more success than we've had here with my beloved Detroit Lions. We're struggling here. We just fired our GM and our head coach, so that's actually probably a good thing for us. So hopefully we can find some success here and try to get on the Seattle Seahawks level at some point. So, yeah. Use StreamYard. Yeah, I like it. I have Zoom. Zoom is something that I can use too. I haven't used the native YouTube live, so I'm not totally sure how that works or if that's a good option to use. But StreamYard is just very intuitive. It's just a very, I think, user friendly, not only for the host, but also for I think people that come in. I think they get a little bit better experience because of the flexibility that the host has with StreamYard. So I definitely appreciate using StreamYard as well. So yeah, so I plan on keeping using it. I was experimenting, like I said, with StreamYard. Zoom was another one that I was going to use. And so I think it just makes sense right now to stick with StreamYard. Maybe I'll upgrade to the higher level of StreamYard and see what benefits that may yield for me. So, well, with that, I am going. Let's see. Too bad you're stuck with Daryl. Yeah, Daryl Bevel. I don't know. Daryl Bevel is hopefully an upgrade from Matt Patricia. Yeah, you get a lot of these coordinators, and each one is supposed to be the hot shot coordinator. Like, oh man, this is the hot coordinator that's going to be a head coaching candidate at some point. And I don't know if people are still saying that about Daryl Bevel as much now as they. I'm feeling old because I remember watching Daryl Bevel when he played in college at Wisconsin, I think it was. Yeah, so it makes me feel old thinking about that right now. That I remember watching him in college. Yeah, hopefully it won't pass on the one. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a good, solid running game, wouldn't it? That you can just be able to run the ball with confidence and not snap the ball and have your offensive line behind the quarterback before he's able to get a couple steps back. So we'll see how that goes. There's definitely some work to be done in Detroit. So, but I'm optimistic. At least we'll see where things go from here. So. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining, and I look forward to getting back with you guys next week for sure, if not sooner. If something comes up during the week, and maybe I'll get on here in the evening for a broadcast at some point. We shall see. I'm wrapping up this project now, so I'm probably not going to do anything until next weekend, because if I wrap up this project as soon as I think I'm going to, then I'll probably be starting a new project next week. So. Be on the lookout here on the channel for the. I'll get the broadcast set up, and you guys will be able to see that. But I'm going to plan on 10:30 a.m. Eastern on Saturday morning, and then 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday evening, and then again on at least 10:30 a.m. on Sunday after having some breakfast. It's always great to sit down and do some writing, and hopefully I'll have as many of you as possible. Come back through next weekend, and we can share some of our progress over the course of the week. And I got to finish editing, shooting. I got to reshoot a video for the channel, and then I've got to edit at least that video, if not another one. I think I just have that one more to shoot and edit. So I'm going to go ahead and get that one done, and I will see you guys next week, if not sooner. So. Peace out.